the ever-changing conditions of Lower Creek. Welcome to yet another installment of Dyke River Dyeworks podcast. I'm Kay, and you can find... No, you can't find me on Instagram because I opened up an Instagram account and within seconds it was hacked, and now somebody in Russia has AndelaineKay. So, if you want to find me on Ravelry as AndelaineKay, AndelaineKay, K-A-Y, AndelaineKay. Or you can find me, yes, I do have yet another Instagram account as Andelaine_K. I set it up. I haven't been able to check on it, so maybe yet another person in Russia has my identity. Why they'd want to hack it, I don't know. When I first set it up as AndelaineKay on Instagram, it within 15 minutes had 47 followers, and I'd posted nothing on it. What is it? I'm coming to the opinion that it's Instagram. I know a lot of people love it, and really, I have a Facebook account. I keep forgetting to mention it. It's Dyke River Dyeworks on Facebook. So there you are. You can find me there. And I have a web page for my artwork, which is kbridge.com.au. And I haven't set one up yet for Dyke River Dyeworks. Oops. You'll find that this session of Dyke River Dyeworks will be very bitty. I kind of apologise for that, but kind of not, because I am all over the place like a mad woman's breakfast. It's just the way I create things, be it my painting, my music, my dyeing, my knitting, all things creative. I'll start a project, and whilst I'm in the midst of creating colourful madness, I'll go, oh, squirrel, and change tack. But I eventually do come back to what I was starting. And look at this, oh my God. Yeah, just washed my hair and I can't do a thing with it. Gotta love it. So I have painting, some knitting, some machine knitting. Yes, I go across to the dark side. Machine knitting. There's some crochet in there. Yeah. So sit back and enjoy, hopefully, or just have a little bit of fun and a giggle. Bye. It's not, I can't see, I'm blind. What's on my needles? Well, as you may, I have in this machine about 200 needles. It's a standard gauge Singer knitting machine. Standard gauge being 4.5 gauge, with a ribber or ribbing attachment. I'm self-taught, or should I modify that and say I'm YouTube taught on how to use this. And if you can hear that, that's Tammy. I think she's going to come and visit. What I'm doing is I'm going to knit myself a winter skirt just to wear over some leggings around the farm. Yeah, it's not going to be a major fashion accessory. So as you can see, farm attire. The colourway, I don't know what the colourway is, but I do have a label from a skein that I used to knit up a scarf for my granddaughter. She and her brother, they've just finished spending a week here, and they've gone home back to Queensland, and she wanted a scarf made. She wanted a rainbow scarf. Why you'd want a scarf, woolen scarf in sunny Queensland? I don't know, but she's 6, and the colourway that was closest was this one, and she said, "What colour is that, Nan?" Unicorn sprinkles. So she was happy with that, and her brother wanted a scarf as well, and he chose one of my hand-dyed, 100% superwash merino, hand-plied, hand-dyed, and smells fabulous. So he got a scarf, one skein scarf out of this, and he was tickled pink with that. They actually were wearing them as like rainbow bandanas, because it was a bit warm here for scarves as yet. But yeah. So it's the skirt that I'm making is this monster. It's Peyton's Rainbow 8-ply, 100% acrylic, and yeah, it knits up really well on the knitting machine. I do have commercial cone knitting machine yarns, but I find that the light 8-ply, I suppose, to those of you that don't have or don't know 8-ply, what 8-ply is, I think it's akin to maybe a light worsted, a DK, a light DK. Yeah, light DK. And that's what's on my needles as far as this is concerned, the knitting machine. Now I've got you sitting on top of another knitting machine, and that's a another Singer. I have 3 Singer knitting machines, and it's set up for lace work. This is a 3, I don't know, can't remember the name, the designation of it. Oh my god, how slack am I? No, that's the ribbing attachment book for the SRP 50, which is this. This is a Singer 321, and I've just had to duck off and find the model. Good on me. And you're sitting on a Singer model 360/260. Now that means it has a different carriage that can handle lace. So you're sitting on the lace knitter, and I use for finer work. This one is a standard gauge, 4.5, and I use it for a workhorse thing. I run the acrylic 8-ply through it, and sport weight, and some of the others that I've got. And you can't see it, can you? Oh, yes you can. Aha! This one here is another Singer. It's a chunky or a bulky model 5.5 bulky. Handles thick yarn, or I've tried it with some of my hand spun and made a horrible mess. So yeah, I've knit blankets and things on that. I've got blankets in the house that I've done on that. Yeah, so that is my industrial needles. Now a little bit of what I've got on my regular needles. This is a continuation of when I first began to knit. Somebody showed me on a set of circular needles on how to purl, and that's all I could manage. And it was a bulky weight yarn that I started with, and I have it just here. Screaming orange. I love orange. Orange is my favourite colour. Or lime green. I think I may have said that before. So this is the very first thing that I actually started knitting on, and it was all purl. I didn't know anything about garter stitch. I just purl, and just found any bulky yarn that I had or similar weight and kept knitting it. Now I've since, and I kept this, and I've since seen on other podcasts people knitting up bulky weight squares and turning them into lap rugs, throws, yeah, small little blankets. So what I thought I'd do was I'd collect my beginnings, and because they're nice and thick, and for some reason I was drawn to just woolly wools, and this one here has a bit of cashmere in it, and so has this one. This is like a really rustic wool. I was drawn to natural fibres to start with. So what I'm going to do is continue with this and make a lap rug out of it. I have this one here. See, look, the gay. I didn't change needles or anything. I just continued. So it goes whoop, whoop. But when I sew it all together, it'll all stretch out, and it's a lap rug. It'll be fine. So yeah, that's the other thing on my needles. So I've got three. I've almost have it done. This here, I had an old jumper that was made of Bolivian alpaca, and I wore it to death, and it eventually frayed around the sleeves and stretched till it was down to my knees and started falling apart. So what I've done is I've reclaimed, this is here, reclaimed my sweater, my jumper, pullover, whatever you call it, tomato, and I'm giving it a second life as my lap rug. Yay! So yeah, it's all sort of orangey, reddy, earthy tones and that sort of thing in it. So it'll be fine. And as you can see, I've kind of stalled on it, but she'll be fine. I may have said, yes I did, in maybe the last podcast that I did, I was going to do the sparkling cider hat. I bought the pattern, fabulous, love it. I've changed my mind. I got the ribbing done and then started into the first section of the pattern, and I was thinking I could do something with this. You know, the design brain is ticking over in the background as you're knitting, and I ripped it all back and I started again, but it's my design. So it is some very lightly variegated yarn and held together with white alpaca. White alpaca, what am I talking about? White mohair. And it gives it a very cool, snowy look to it. And yes, I'm coming up with my own design. What am I doing? I can't just do something plain. That's why I've got so many things on the go. I start it and then I think, oh no, I could change it. No, stick to the pattern. Stick to the pattern. Stick to the program. Get it with the program. But no, I can't. I'm all over the place. Art brain. Speaking of which, I'll just take a break here and then I'll go and show you what's on my easel. Now, just before I show you what's on my easel, I have a finished object. Now, I was just talking about sticking to the program and sticking to a pattern. I can't do it. I was going to make a coat, crocheted, with some Bavarian granny squares, Bavarian stitch in it, but I couldn't decide. That's the front side of these granny squares, but I actually prefer the wrong side, the other side. It looks like paintings. It looks like watercolor paintings or just, yeah. And I put all of these together and I made a scarf. I couldn't decide on the construction of the coat. I couldn't follow the pattern. I could follow the pattern, but I get bored. Oh, like I said, the design brain is ticking over in the background, and I can follow the pattern, but I can't stick to the pattern. I can't stay with it. I have to change things. So I've got this multicolored purple, very long, warm, going to be a scarf, and give me that. I'm happy with that. I like the oversized scarf. Granny grimace. There. So there we go. That's that one. Right, now, where was I? Sorry for that. Okay. Here I am in the studio, dressed in my painting attire. Old t-shirts and old clothes because I get paint on me. I'm messy. I'm really messy. This here is a board that I'm working on for the salon that I may have mentioned in the last podcast. It's marine ply. I'm painting it in oils. What they're going to do when it's dry is coat it with UV resistant, is it? Sunscreen for pictures. UV coating, and it'll go on display at the front of the gallery with a whole lot of other images as well from other fabulous artists. Now, I was kind of a glutton for punishment. I said I'd do two. This one I'll take up there. Hopefully as a finished piece, or I might finish it on the spot there. I'll do 95, 98% of it and probably finish it there. They're having an art festival with artists doing artwork in the mall in Armidale, in the Beatty Street Mall. The other one I did was, it's upside down. This is how I start. I just do a charcoal sketch. I'll work it into thirds, find my thirds, and then just draw the thirds across it. Depending, I will use golden mean, which might be a different composition, or I might use that, the golden mean, the big snail shell looking composition, depending. That head just there, that's Tammy. Anyway, yeah, so it's maroon ply. I've coated the back, but I will paint and seal the back further. I don't think that the people who are hanging them in the mall are going to seal the backs of the images. Not the ones that were in the gallery when I turned up. I'm not sure if they were sealed at the back, so I think it might be a good idea to seal the back of the board, because if they're going to be out in the weather. But if they last, they last. If they don't, I don't really care. This one here is, I don't know what it is yet. It's been looking down our valley from the big hill, what we call the big hill. Come from the plateau and then go down. And we live in the bottom, probably on the other side of that hill actually. In autumn and spring, mists seem to roll down from the plateau where Armidale is. Just they seem to roll off the plateau and down into the valleys and just fill the valleys like water. As yet, I haven't finished doing the mist, and I will do some more glazing on the hills. They're not black, but they look really black, don't they? It's a mixture of an olive green, Australian leaf green dark, and an ultramarine blue wash over the top of it. I hate green. Mainly because I'm partially colourblind, and reds and greens, I see reds and greens slightly differently to the normal person. How's that for a colourblind artist? I was a colourblind designer for a long time, and yeah, but with design, you have the numbers. You have numbers, so you choose the numbers. Thank you, Tammy, for your colours. So you just rely on the numbers, and when you go to print, I'll have this Pantone, please. But when I'm mixing colours for greens, I tend to have fairly high key, which means fairly high colour. It's just what I do. I prefer actually monotone, black and white. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Hopefully it actually doesn't look too bad on the picture. I've got 2 sets of glasses, haven't got my new glasses as yet. These ones are variable focus and I really need my eyes checked. I'm just going to hone right in here. Oh, no, it doesn't. The sky doesn't look too bad. It's always good to see your pictures from a different perspective. But when I want to see areas of contrast or areas that may not work, I'll because colour buggers me up, I'll use this to have a look. I might need to do something with that bottom, that side. That's all, yeah. It's just a little bit. But then the sun's gone down, I've lost the sun. So I might I'll do a few washes and add a little bit of that. Because it's in, the sun's over there, or just rising. I'll work with it. I'll see what I can come up with. I'll faff around with it for a while. So yeah, that's one of my very helpful little tools. It takes out the colour and just shows you areas of contrast. So if you've got your areas of contrast right, tone, and if 2 colours are of the same value, when you do this, they should have no differentiation between the 2. You shouldn't be able to see the difference in the colours if they're of the same tone. So that helps also if you do actually want to have a gradation in tone, and you've got your 2 values too similar, you can just knock that back if they look exactly the same if you're looking at it through here. So yeah, like I said in one of the earlier videos, you learn the techniques in your knitting and all the little subtle nuances and stitch things, definition and twist and all that sort of thing. And then you learn to put that together in a final piece. And when you're doing your artwork, it's similar. You learn all the little techniques and the subtle nuances to come up with a finished piece. Yeah. So there you go. Welcome to the studio. Well, that's the painting corner. I've got all my brushes. I've got brushes for an artist, like knitting needles for a knitter. You can never find the right one at the time, and you have multiples, and some of the tips might suit, some of the tips might be buggered through just wear and tear, or a cat may chew it. Yeah, so that's my brush collection, and I can go to second-hand shops and buy fabulous containers, old pottery, handmade pottery. What have I got there? I've got terracotta, an old, very ugly vase, a wooden mug that holds no water, but it holds my brushes perfectly. So you can go and find all sorts of things, and I've got rags and brushes and all sorts of crap and disaster. My easel is one of my pride and joy. When I was working as a teacher, I saved up a lot of money and got this custom made out of Australian hardwoods. If I take the weights off at the bottom, this centerpiece can shoot right up and it'll keep going and probably punch a hole in my ceiling. So I don't do that. So there you go. I'll stop now. Oh, music. just turn that down. Back again. Finished. Does it look? Whatever. It's finished. Don't faff around with it anymore. I'll just. There we go. This gives me a chance to have a look at it too. Sorry. Yep. Signed, sealed, not delivered, but finished. That'll do. Yeah. Oh, now to start the second one.